Hello, it's Talking Reds. It's Thursday. It's John Gibbons. I'm with my main man, Fuad Hasan, and we are here to reflect on Liverpool's victory last night. Another win, another crazy win at Preston in the League Cup. We're in the quarter-finals, Fuad. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Into the hat. I don't know, it's Saturday morning. Apparently the draw is on Soccer AM.
Yeah, that's mad.
It is a bit mad. I'd like to have been on the way home. Everyone in the car. But they were making us hang on until Saturday. But the quarter-finals in December anyway, so no rush. But yeah, we're in it.
That's brilliant. Yeah, no, it's really good that we managed to get through, and it's going to be. It looks like it's a lot of Premier League teams as well. So you'd expect changes from them in the next rounds, which gives another chance for a lot of the guys that played the Preston game and Norwich game, and that's what you want. These guys have earned it. If you keep winning games, this manager will reward you with your performances and reward you with more opportunities, and that's brilliant for this squad going forward in terms of developing these players and also getting some of our other first teamers minutes when they need it.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it, Phil? And people can talk about domestic cups being a sort of a distraction, or being something that, always extra games. But the way Liverpool have played it this season, I'm only seeing positives because, like you say, there's some young lads who've either got the first game for Liverpool or the first start for Liverpool, or at least, some early minutes in their careers. But also for some of these guys who we might need at some point, they're getting minutes on the pitch and also goals. And I thought, from one end of the pitch to the other at the back, I thought Joe Gomez, you could see him, first looking a bit sort of shaky maybe, but growing into the game. And so if we need him at some point, that 90 minutes will be really useful. And also up front, although I don't think it was a scintillating attacking performance, both your forwards get your goals and you can't argue with that. Exactly,
the two players that, everyone's kind of been talking about. There's a lot of chat before the game on Sky about how those two are going to be really needed in the coming months. And I'm not, you never know with injuries, hopefully nothing happens, but they are players that are going to have to come into Premier League games, to big games where we might need them to deliver in big moments. And, who better for the big moments than Big Div?
It's an outrageous finish, isn't it? I mean, the Minamino one's a nice one, but I don't know, it's just like, he just finds new ways to surprise you. Divock, that's what I'd say.
It's sort of a bit like a mad five-a-side goal where you just sort of stick your foot out and see what happens because there's nothing else you can do.
But he does it in a natural game.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the photos from it are pieces of art. The scorpion position, the leg perfectly, at 90 degrees. It's a really good goal, and it's just added to his catalogue of mad moments.
Yeah, Stuart Hamilton said he had nothing for the entire game than that, and he was a little bit like that. But that's centre forwards, I suppose, isn't it? Fuad, we're used to a Bobby Firmino who's here there is sort of doing everything, but your traditional centre forward just sort of pops up in the right place where you need him, and he gets, what was a winning goal effectively, wasn't it? To be honest, I felt as soon as we went 1-0 up, we'd go on to win the game. I thought that had probably knocked the stuffing out of Preston, really, having, sort of had their own chances before that. But, the second to seal it, makes the game done, and also means they can bring on even more young lads. And there was quite a few there at the end, academy boys sort of either start the game or sort of finish it up, and that's a real boost. And all of them in different ways can be sort of proud of what they've done.
Definitely, and we've clearly got a really great crop of youngsters, and you need to get them onto the pitch in these moments to see if they can make that next step. And the whole club and the structure of the club has been based around giving these kids opportunities. That's how they managed to get them in the first place, how to sign them up. And there's a clear pathway there that the manager is really keen to kind of protect, and the whole coaching staff is really kind of passionate about. And to get them minutes in big games in kind of men's football, if you like, is what it's all about, because they need to have the opportunities to show it. And I really like how they go about it. There's clearly no pressure on them. Klopp, I think before and after the game both spoke about there's no expectations. It's all about them going out and enjoying it, because that's what it's about. And it's good to keep that kind of that vibe around the club and around the academy, because these guys have been playing really serious football since they're 10, 11 years old. And to make that big jump from under 23s to the first team, it can be really intimidating, no matter how good of a footballer you are. But they've clearly got the best environment, probably in the world for these players, in terms of making them feel like they belong and making them feel like they can jump that gap. And the pros around the first team as well are brilliant. James Milner travels without even getting on the pitch, and you can clearly tell that he's a huge influence on them. So yeah, it's great to see. I really enjoy these games because you get to see these players come through, and a lot of them excel, and a lot of them make a name for themselves.
Yeah, and no more so than Tyler Morton at the moment, who starts the game in central midfield and I thought played really, really well. Let us know what you made of Tyler, but he's not someone who was massively on the radar coming into the summer. I don't think, we do our One for the Future show, which is obviously on the Academy, hosted expertly by Josh Sexton, and he's not necessarily one who was on our lips loads and loads last season. We thought he was doing well, but he's shown the benefit of, I think, just being around the squad over the summer and just learning and developing. And as you say, Fuad, taking that sort of step up really, and acknowledging that it is a step up. You might have to sort of change your game slightly, but when you're around good players every day like they are, elite level footballers, when you're training with them, coming to this game, that obviously all helps. And he's one who's really grabbed this chance, I think.
100%. The Norwich game when he comes on at half-time, I remember seeing Thiago had an arm around him before he came on and was talking him through it, and that's brilliant. Imagine you're Tyler Morton and if you got this guy who's basically giving you.
I might see if he was just coming out me and put his hand on, "You're right, Gibbo, yeah, you got this, lad."
We could have done that on Monday morning, couldn't we?
I don't even think Thiago could have started that Monday morning in this place.
No, he really does look like a great player, and he's got that composure on the ball, and obviously the quality's there. The ball he plays to Nico before the first goal was really good, and he definitely kind of grew into it. It's not an easy role to play, that number 6, is it? Especially when the midfielders, a little bit mad. I thought, Chamberlain, Jones in the first half kind of struggled to do bits going forward, and it did get a bit scrappy in midfield at times. But he more than did his bit, and it's another appearance for him, which is really good, and hopefully we see him in the next round.
Yeah, some quotes from Jurgen Klopp on Tyler Morton, which are quite good and interesting. He said, "Tyler is obviously a real talent and a real smart footballer." This was after the game last night. He said his natural movement and natural positioning is really good. He's a smart boy and his technique is really good. Now we have to make sure we can get him a body for adult football, and he's not too strong or too skinny, but there's a bit to come from him ready for this, and this was a positive performance. I've read a couple of things recently where they say there's a gym culture in Liverpool, I think led by Mo Salah, but they're in there, they're sort of bulking up and things like that, and that happened naturally, do you know what I mean, in terms of the age he still is and stuff like that, and sort of moving forward. And I think he will sort of naturally bulk up, but those are lovely words from the manager.
There is. It put great words. Maybe needs a word with Craig. Get Craig onto Tyler Morton, invite him down for some gym sessions, and, get him bulked up and ready for the next. Yeah, these guys all, they naturally get there. I remember Trent when he came through. You look at some of the pictures now. The first few games he started, and he does look like a boy basically. Yeah. And now he's properly grown into himself. Same with Curtis Jones. Joe Gomez has bulked up a lot. Yeah. So there's clearly room for that and time for that. Having the footballing brain is a big thing.
Yeah, he's got the heart bit, hasn't he?
Exactly. And there's still room for that to develop as well because of his age and because of his experience. So it's all positive for him, and hopefully he kind of feels the same about his football at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just read out a few comments. Red MB said Morton played amazingly, man of the match. I think I would agree with that. Overall, Alexandro said Morton has won all our hearts. Nice to see. He was great again yesterday. Callum McFadden, Tyler Morton, king of the Lesser Peninsula. He is the greatest widow midfielder since Jay Spearing, and I don't throw around that lightly. Do you know what I mean? As a huge Jay Spearing fan, finally playing for Tranmere, ground he can walk to. It feels like the best thing for him. Interesting shout here from Jude as well. Shout out to Vita Matos as well. Crucial to players taking that step up, and that's an interesting one that he's brought up there, because his job is sort of bridging that gap. And I think when we talk about the strength of the academy, and you talked about having a good crop of young players, I think a lot of praise needs to be given to the football club in general for everything that they've done to sort of oversee us praising Tyler Morton last night. And so that doesn't happen by getting a talented 10-year-old and then just saying, well, we'll see what happens. It's all the coaching, but it's also these little things that they put in place, like these people they hire, like Matos, whose job it is solely is sort of to bridge gaps and to sort of help with that development. Obviously, someone like Pep Linders, who's coached academy football. He was Trent's coach, wasn't he, at under 15s level, and then knows about the bridge and stuff like that. A manager like Jurgen, who's able to give young players a chance and is confident enough to do it. It's all these things, isn't it, that all contribute to someone like Tyler Morton putting in such an assured performance yesterday.
100%. And it's one of the manager's biggest strengths is trusting other people's strengths and other people's expertise. And Vito Mathos is clearly one who's they brought in before when I think he was working in Portugal, and Portugal have had a really good crop of youngsters as well come through, and look at them now. And it's the same sort of thing. You kind of feel like Harvey Blair, for example, was probably one of his where he's the one that put the word out to Klopp and Pep Linders, because he's with these players all the time. And it's great to have that kind of that process and system in place, so that we can kind of get the talent out of these boys that come through and attract them to join in the first place. If you're a youngster and you're looking at that game yesterday, you're seeing a whole load of academy players, get given an opportunity at a top 4, top 2 team in the world. So it's a really great thing that we have there, and it's something that we all call for. Don't we? Always want to see people come through the academy, and to come through in the right way. We don't want to see people come through and then kind of fall off a cliff because the jump came too quickly, or it came even too late maybe. And they're clearly really good at timing things right with the players and doing it kind of player by player, person by person.
Yeah, interesting shout here from Wayne Taylor as well. Says they made the point about the academy moving to the Axum, and now they're all on the same facility, and how that might help us both in terms of this season and also moving on as well. Let's all hope so. But yeah, Liverpool won, and that is the thing that mattered. Straight after the game last night, the post-match pint was filmed. The reaction to this game, so we're going to show a little clip from that right now.
The League Cup these days is a bit mad. It's a mixture of people who aren't getting a game, kids coming in and all that. There's players out there today that half of us haven't even heard of. But we've won, we're through. City are out, as I say, and that's all right, isn't it, Ben? It's a nice night, isn't it?
It's Sam, mate. As you say, the League Cup's a weird one, innit? Because we haven't... Last time we got the final, Klopp's first season.
Yeah.
And against City, and we had our lines in that game, but I love a little early year little trip to Wembley. Nice. It's great, something to get into. So, I'm into getting to the final of this. I'm into winning it. With Sam, we've just been saying we're going to wait for the draw
until Saturday.
Until Saturday morning. So we'll have to give it a rest. Come back again. Have a good day's rest tomorrow. Bit of a warm up on Thursday.
The League Cup is mad, and to be fair, just to go off on a tangent for a second, how they do the draw is part of the madness, isn't it? They're advertising their Soccer AM, including the Carabao Cup quarter-final draw, 10:30 on Saturday. They've had it on the One Show. They've had it from Market Street in Morrison's. They've had it from another country in the middle of the night. They put some graphic out once that was wrong, and then they had to do the draw again. You know what I mean? If you're going to keep some prestige around this cup, they've done the best to fuck it up over the years, haven't they?
Yeah. We thought the FA Cup draw being on the One Show was bad enough. When you're literally going to bed and waking up the next morning and see who you're playing in a domestic cup competition, it does just kind of devalue it and take away from it quite a bit. But if you look at it this year, though, it's opening up quite a bit for us. Manchester United are out; they get beaten in the last round. Man City are out. Everton are out. Leicester have gone to penalties now. Obviously, people listening or watching will know the score of that. So it's opening up quite nicely. And you look at some of the teams in the quarterfinals. You get Sunderland here in League One. You've got Brentford, who are a decent side, but quarterfinal of a cup competition, you'd take that all day long. And even the likes of Arsenal and Spurs, you'd fancy us there. So just with in the first couple of rounds, we've had a nice enough draw here. If we can continue to get that bit of luck that I think we've been due over the years, the first time Man City have played a top 50 Premier League club in England, look what's happened. We've had a couple of nice draws here, and look where we are. Quarterfinal of the Domestic Cup, I'll take it all day long.
Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, you can subscribe to the Anfield Wrap, theanfieldwrap.com/subscribe to enjoy not just the post-match pint, but all of our post-match content, and obviously all of our content looking ahead to Brighton as well on Saturday. And listen, I'm sure we're all still buzzing from the weekend as well. One of the best ever pinks, best ever post-match pints sort of in the ground at Old Trafford, and on the way back on Sunday as well. So you can relive all that. All that is still online, as well as amazing little 3-minute video on YouTube that Mr. Fuad Hasan did of our day. If you want to sort of check that out, that is out there for free on YouTube as well. So yeah, great times to subscribe to the Anfield Wrap. I'm not sure if Gareth Roberts did a big get in after Preston. He might just save it for the big games now. He certainly did one after United. We've made it into a mug. You can see a couple of them here. It's available to buy on our shop. So if you go to theanfieldwrap.com, click on shop there, and that takes you through, and so you can buy this as well as all of our other brilliant stuff that is available online there. And just to finish off on Mo Salah, then Fuad, there seems to be a new story, new developments every day on his contract. I don't know, it feels like it's getting closer to me. It feels like different people are obviously putting different things out. There's a story where he says, oh, his agent wants at least 400 grand a week, and then the next day it'll be, oh no, it's not quite that, do you know what I mean? And, you know, now the latest is that maybe to try and keep him within the wage structure, it's going to be a sort of a fairly hefty signing on fee. And that might be the sort of the way that everyone sort of ends up sort of saving face. Liverpool get to say, well, no, he's still within our wage structure. You know, Mo Salah gets to say, well, I've, you know, been given the sort of money I deserve for my status, you know, in football. The agent gets his cut, everyone's happy, and we get to watch Mo Salah for 4 years.
Exactly. I mean, that's the most important bit. We get to watch Mo Salah for 4 years, no matter how, you just feel like it is going to be quite a complex deal, whatever it is. We were talking about bonuses and all that before, and you know, I'm sure that they're working it all out. From the club's perspective, you know, you can't really see how they don't, you know, get it done because of the value of the well, if we're going to be business about it, you know, of the asset, of the player, of the man, of everything. And you know, he clearly wants to stay. You know, that at Old Trafford when we missed the 5th goal, but we were still down in the concourse in disbelief. But you know, you can see looking back at how much he gets everything that we get in terms of, you know, playing for this club, the big games, everything, and you just want it to get done because he is someone that can keep going for 4, 5, 6 years. He's got it. He's definitely got it in him. He might not even be at his peak yet. You know, he's reaching it, but there's still years for him to go to stay at that level. And, you know, he better be staying at it at Liverpool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We all want it to be done. You know, we're all following it. The Anfield Wrap are ready to explode when he does sort of sign a new contract. So let's all hope that can happen. And in the short time, at least we get to watch him on Saturday, you know, and everyone's had a nice rest, haven't they? So you're expecting, you know, maybe Curtis Jones might have to come in and sort of start again, but largely, you know, it's going to be a changed team and, fresh legs, and we get to watch this amazing sort of attacking talent again.
Exactly, yeah. Just going forward, you know, this team is like, it sort of reminds you back in, you know, when Klopp first came through and in 17, 18, you know, where that the excitement of the attacking play was so special, and you feel like every time they go forward now they're going to score a goal because that's just the kind of form all of them are in individually and also collectively. That they're just on such a different wavelength to other teams. You know, you watch them against United. I watched the game back just so I could it was closure for me. You know, just to kind of end it because it's still on a high for 2-3 days. And you know, the speed at which they're doing things, the speed at which they're interchanging. Do the 1-2s and everything. It's special. It's by far the form team in the planet, and I think we should go.
Up the meds, enjoy. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm off to have a coffin fit.